Stalin ordered the evacuation of diplomatic missions and government offices. Factories and plants, about 1,200 of them, were to be dismantled and destroyed, and movable equipment was to be evacuated. Ministries, the state bank, theaters, museums, such as the precious collection of Tretyakov Picture Gallery, were to be evacuated too. The staff of the Bolshoi Theater was to be evacuated. The theater itself was to be destroyed. The government was moved to Kuibyshev, documents burned. Stalin and the Politburo were to stay for some time. But all Stalin's wardrobe, his personal belongings, his cars were evacuated. Preparations were made for Stalin to be evacuated very quickly. Hundreds of thousands of Muscovites left, including party officials, heads of industries, and many other officials. You can understand why they were in a hurry to leave. They knew perfectly well that if they are captured by the Germans, they would be executed. They were the top officials of the country. They really didn't want to stay in the occupied Moscow. Transport stopped. On 16th October, the underground was not working. Trams did not go. There was no electricity. Shops were closed. And panic started. There was looting. There were disturbances. The workers objected against the plants to be dismantled and destroyed. Salaries were not paid, and sometimes the workers attacked their managers. They didn't want to be left with nothing. Militia and the NKVD did nothing. They obviously didn't get any orders to do anything. There was no information. Radio did not work. This continued for 3 days, 16th, 17th, 18th, and on the 19th, the panic started to get quashed. Many people were shot, including some high officials. But the front was stabilized. Here you can see Muscovites leaving the city, already in a more orderly manner. By 1st December, the population of the capital shrunk from 4.5 to 2.5 million. This is more Muscovites leaving. Many Muscovites were sent to dig trenches, and they did. This is Moscow equipment, the equipment of Moscow factories evacuated. Stalin closely watched the measures for defense. He oversaw the redeployment of all possible reserves and preparations for the destructions of plants and factories. He continued to give orders on minute details of combat operations. Some were reasonable, some not. For example, he ordered the offensives at Volokholamsk and Serpukhov. These were not successful, they were not well prepared. But Stalin was much more successful on the propaganda front. On 7th November 1941, 24th anniversary of the October Revolution, Stalin ordered the military parade in Red Square. The preparations for the parade were made in secret. Stalin ordered to light the Kremlin stars. He ordered the masking tape to be taken off the Lenin Mausoleum. Of course, all sorts of security measures had to be provided. For example, the troops were not allowed to have any cartridges and shells. They were all removed. Stalin addressed the troops from the mausoleum, as usual. The address was actually filmed later. It was filmed separately inside, but the viewers did not notice. This was an enormous success. A day before, on 6 November, a reception was held in the underground station Mayakovskaya. This is Mayakovskaya underground station during the siege of Moscow. As you can see, people were just sleeping there. It was used as a bomb shelter. But on 6 November 1941, this underground station was turned into a reception hall. Here is Stalin speaking to the invited people. The train with food and drinks was standing at the station as well. Stalin's speech made an enormous effect on the people. He was saying that the war would last just a few months. The Germans would be defeated in just half a year, perhaps a year. This was not so, but it meant a lot for the Soviets. These are people listening, and look at their faces. The speech had a great psychological effect, both at home and abroad. Films were shown throughout the country. In Moscow alone, in 1 week, 200,000 people watched. One of the commanders who was present at the event said that in 2 days, Stalin changed the situation. If there was one victory in the whole war which Stalin could claim as his own, it was this. It was the victory over fear. The German offensive on Moscow, you see here on this map, the two prongs surrounding Moscow, both on a smaller map and on a bigger map. You can see what they were going to do. They were going to surround the capital. But this did not work out. During December and January, the Soviet troops counterattacked. This was the first big victory of the Soviets over the Germans. The danger against the capital, the direct danger against the capital, was removed. The psychological effect of this victory was enormous.